Hey y'all, welcome to Simple Conversations. This is KJ.
Hey, and it's Alice. So pause us for a minute, grab you something to drink, come back, sit down, and be a part of this conversation.
Because we have a lot to say. Welcome to Simple Conversations. So y'all, listen, this is our disclaimer. We're not here to give you any advice or tell you how to live your life.
Well, maybe just a little.
We're still trying to figure this thing out ourselves. Thanks for tuning in. Hey y'all, welcome back to Simple Conversations where grace meets strength. We are super excited to continue our series today with amazing, courageous women. Hey Alice.
Hey, good morning.
How's it going?
It's good. Actually, though, it's afternoon. So we've been doing this all day. So it's afternoon now. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's good to see your face. We can actually, y'all, we are still in 2020. Currently, yeah. You may be listening to this podcast in 2022, but right now today we are still in 2020. We are utilizing Zoom to do our podcast, and so I can actually see Alice's face. So It's good to see your face.
It is. We don't get to see each other as much now through the whole quarantine. Thank goodness for Zoom.
So here we go. Another part of our series of amazing, courageous women.
I'm really excited about this. So you guys, this will be number 4. So if you've been following our series, this guest is number 4 in our amazing and courageous women. And so we are super flexible. You know, in the Marine Corps, we had a logo saying that said, the Marine Corps' logo is Semper Fi, which means always faithful. I had to think about that. Oh my gosh. And so as spouses, we used to always say Semper Gumby, always flexible. So today we are exercising that flexibility because our guest today is a super busy woman that wears many hats. And so I'm very excited to introduce you to my friend and neighbor, Chrystal. Chrystal is a videographer, photographer. She has a production business. She does all the things for photos. Okay, all the things. She does weddings and new babies, which I love the new baby ones. She does maternity photo shoots and boudoir photo shoots, if I said that right. I love all of her work. And so now we're going to welcome Chrystal and let her tell us all about her stuff. So, Chrystal, welcome to Simple Conversations.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
So we're so excited.
Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to have you. So I want to know how, well, first just tell us about yourself.
Oh my gosh. A mom of 2. I've been doing what I do now, which I love, for just over 21 years.
Wow.
I started very, very young. I'm not trying to age myself, y'all.
No, because she's beautiful. You guys will see
Huh?
I said they'll get to see how beautiful you are when we advertise it with our little podcast video or photo.
And I don't know. I'm so bad about talking about myself. That is what I'm so bad at. Alice, you hit me with the first one.
Okay, so tell us the different styles of photography that you do. Start there.
Okay, so I do lifestyle, family, newborns, wedding, engagement, boudoir, pretty much everything for the most part. And then I also do video, which is really what I'm known for, and mostly in the wedding world. But I do commercial stuff too, but weddings mostly.
What's your favorite thing to do?
My favorite thing to do, so that kind of changes by the season, it seems to be. I would say probably families right now. A year ago, I would have said babies, without a doubt. But I've changed the past, since all this going on and events have been shut down in 2020. I've had a lot of time to reflect and learn new things. So a lot of my focus has been on families, and I've changed my entire style of shooting, which I haven't really posted a lot of yet. And I'm a whole bunch. I don't even want to focus on babies right now. I don't even want to focus on weddings as much. So there's a whole bunch of new stuff going on right now. Had it not been for 2020, I probably wouldn't have had time to do any of this. To give you a totally different answer than I would have, less than a year ago.
That makes sense to me. And it makes sense to me with you being a creative that your focus would change from time to time, because that just makes sense, because I think as creatives, we have a short attention span sometimes.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why I say it changes seasonally.
Yeah. I think that's cool though. I think that keeps you relevant and interesting. So yeah, I love that.
Also too, I think what's been very important for small businesses during the COVID, the pandemic, is to be able to pivot. And so she is absolutely utilizing the season, finding the gold in it and pivoting her business and figuring it out. And obviously it's working for her because she's so busy. She's in the car talking to us right now and to check out new places to do family photos.
Right.
So I think that's that's great. That's to have a business where you can pivot in a time like this and be successful at that is really good.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And it's really refreshing. There are so many women around, and many businesses, but women specifically, that have done that pivot, and it's amazing. It's it warms my heart. I love it so much.
Me too.
Well, it gives you a new fresh love for your ideas and your creative outlet. And so and look, as a hairdresser, it was really hard to pivot that business for a time like this when people would prefer to stay home or to stay in their quarantine bubble. So I applaud that for sure. So Chrystal, tell us what why do you do this? Why?
So I do. It wasn't my initial plan when I was looking into a career. It really fell in my lap, video, and then the video evolved into digital, which took me into photos. But it fell in my lap, and I loved it so much, and I just ran with it, and here I am, today. I keep doing it because they're especially not so much with photos, but I keep saying video because video is what I'm known for, and video is really what pays my bills. There's a love-hate relationship there because it requires so much. It's so draining. It's rewarding on the back end, but that rewarding part, that's what keeps me coming. That's what keeps me going and, staying in the business. Photos are my creative outlet more because video, like I said, there's that love-hate relationship with it, but photos allow me to relax and enjoy it all over again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And I feel like I can be more creative sometimes. Photos are a little more, I can change things up and I can re-edit things. Not that I'm going to reshoot something, I could, but I have a little more freedom with photos, I guess,
right.
versus video, because I'm not just going out and doing video for fun because there is
right.
so much work involved. I'm doing big video that is big money. So there's no room for error or creative playtime, I guess.
Right. So how much time do you spend with the video versus how much time do you spend editing the video?
Oh, night and day. Night and day. So I will go, I'll go on a wedding shoot. We'll just say an American wedding, just one day. I'll shoot one day. I'm there roughly, 10 to 12 hours. Editing, I work on, now I split my editing up so I don't go completely insane. And then, you know, I have other projects, so I have to split everything up.
Right.
But when I condense those hours, I say that I would probably spend maybe 3 to 4 weeks looking at the same video.
Oh, wow.
Consistent every day. Now that's broken up over a couple of months.
Okay.
So do I hear you correctly that from the time you shoot the video on wedding day, it's going to take you a couple of months to get that video back to the bride and the groom because you have done so much editing to make it just the perfect video?
Well, of course.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
I love
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely. There's a lot of love, sweat, not a lot of tears, but a lot of time invested in these videos. Because I'm a perfectionist. I will finish an entire video. I will not show the client. I will post it to I will upload it to my gallery where I keep my videos. And I will watch it at least twice all the way through and make numerous changes before I finally upload the final video. I'll probably go through it typically about 3 times.
Wow.
Most of the time.
Wow.
But I will sit on it for about a week or two because I want to watch it on this day, and you know, maybe my vision is different in a week. That's how much like those creative minds, they're constantly changing.
Right.
Yeah, and I'll make changes, and then sometimes the third time I'll go through and I'm like, you know what? I think I did like that better the first time.
Right.
And I'll switch something.
That makes
So
sense.
I love that you work with the spirit of excellence. That you will not return a video to a bride and groom, which is one of the most important days of their life, until you feel 100% satisfied that you have created that video with a spirit of excellence. That's admirable.
I would want to watch that video, you know, not even being my wedding. If it's not up, it's got to be up to my par. If it were my video, I want it to be perfect.
Yes, I agree.
That's good. That's good. Hey, I want to know, what is the funniest thing that you have ever captured, either by camera or by video?
Gosh, I don't usually get asked that one. Usually it's the worst. The funniest. I know. So I had a newborn shoot, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and Dad is holding baby, and I'm sure I have a photo of it. I don't think I ever posted it or put it in their gallery, but we were in the middle of the pose, so he was changing positions, but baby is completely nude. And Dad had her in his hands, and we were changing positions, and we were going in for like this money shot. All chest, it got up underneath his chin, and you would have thought she was a boy at 150%, because moms of boys, you know what I mean, they spray like crazy. Well, this little girl, she was all out there. That was hysterical.
How did Dad handle that?
He handled it so well.
So good.
And he was a first-time dad, too.
Oh, well, that was my second question. Did he have experience? Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah. He now has 2 babies, 2 little girls.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So that's going to lead me into asking her the same question that everybody else does. What's the worst thing you've ever captured? Because now I want to know.
Well, I mean, it's not a good one. So this was at the very beginning of my career. I was filming a wedding. This was in Virginia Beach. It's at a location that's no longer there. The bride and groom, they're getting ready for their ceremony. They're in separate rooms. Bride is getting dressed. Well, and for this exact reason, I no longer do this. I put we called a lapel mic on the groom way ahead of time, way early, just to make sure, his audio is good to go. So I put a lapel on him. I leave the room and I leave the lapel mic recording so I can hear in my earpiece, what he's saying. So I then walk around the room and I wasn't even paying attention there, forgot that, my earpiece was even on, even though I can hear it, I just wasn't thinking about it. So I continue setting up or whatever. I go into the bride's room to get some shots of her getting ready. And all of a sudden, I start paying attention to what's happening in my ear. And it is the groom talking to his guys about the one night stand he just had the night before.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't know what to do because I am looking at his bride, which was probably the one and only bridezilla I've ever had in my career. And I even hate to say that because I want to say I never have any, but she kind of was. He was not saying great things about her as well. I kept my mouth shut. It wasn't my place. And I didn't know. I was probably 16, 17 years old at the time. I was in no place to tell a grown woman, I don't know. So anyways, I let it be. Just didn't say a word. And, vendors behind, us vendors, we kind of know we overhear everything.
Right.
We can predict things way before it happens.
Right.
So later on in the day, find out that one of the guys in the room, I wasn't the only one that heard this conversation. So, of course, me and this vendor start talking about it. And we're looking at, now at this point when we're talking about it, we're in the reception just before the cake cutting. They were snapping at each other. You could just tell it just wasn't, I don't understand why they were getting married in the first place. Very, very unfortunate. They weren't happy together. So just minutes after this conversation with the other vendor, we go to the cake cutting. This cake is still to this date the biggest cake I've ever seen in my life with my own two eyes. It was on a standard table, like a round table that you see at any wedding.
Right.
And the cake was probably, 8 feet.
Oh my gosh.
8 feet up in the air. So the cake itself was probably, 4 feet tall, 4.5 feet tall. But it was just so big because it was on a table. So the bride and groom go to do their cake cutting and the cake falls over. And that kind of wrapped up their wedding. I never heard from them afterwards. I worked for a company at the time, so I wasn't the one to deliver their video. I'm not sure whatever came of that.
Wow.
But yeah, that's my my worst wedding story.
Wow.
So sad. So sad. But I think me now, I wonder if I would say something, but I don't like my grooms for that reason. I don't even want to know. I don't want to know.
Yeah, that would be hard for me too. Wow, that would be hard.
Yeah.
So Chrystal, you said you were 16, 17 at that point. So tell us how you got started.
So I got started when I was 15. I was working at Food Lion, and there was this guy that came through my line all the time, like a couple times a week. And one day he threw me his business card and he's like, I really like you and I think you should come work for me. And I was like, okay, old man, whatever. So then I did keep the card though, and it made its way into my car. And not long after, I ended up quitting my Food Lion job, and I just showed up at his office. And his business card didn't say what he did. I had no idea what I was walking into. Like a young girl at that age, just not telling anybody where she's going and walking into some random person's business office.
Yeah, we don't encourage that.
No, highly do not do that. No. So but I did. And I walk into his office, and it looked like a typical living room. There were photos on the walls that I it was like bride and grooms, but I wasn't putting two and two together. And the guy comes around the corner and he's like, I said, yeah, what do you do? And he's like, well, I film weddings. And I know my facial expression totally changed because I just wasn't expecting that. Though hesitant, I still went on to listen to what he had to say about weddings, and he put me in front of like this. Everything was analog then. It wasn't digital like it is now on computers. So it was like this big wall of switchboards and monitors everywhere. Wow. He put me in front of it, and we're in a dark room. Now, again,
don't do it.
Don't encourage this. As a young girl, don't just do this and go into a dark room with a strange man. Though I did kind of know them. I mean, he was a regular shopper. So we sat in this room. We went over a quick edits, and he just showed me what he did, just real quick. And I was a little intrigued, whatever. So he left me alone for a minute to like kind of play with some things, and I did, and I actually made a couple of decent edits, not even realizing what I was doing. So he thought that was pretty, like, a good start. So he's like, I have a wedding this weekend, and I want you to show up. Wear all black. You don't have to do anything. I just want you to stand there. So I show up. I show up in a black suit with high heels on, pumps. Not a good idea.
Right, all day.
Especially like a 12-hour day. So I show up. He puts me behind the camera, shows me some basics, but tells me just not to do anything. So we're standing there during the ceremony, and the bride and groom, there's a shift, and they're, in my head, this camera needs to zoom in on this because I'm the one with the best angle. So as I'm reaching over to the camera to push the zoom button, I can see he's the late great, he just passed away, the great Don, across the room, like giving hand signals that I didn't know what they were. I just knew that he told me not to push anything, but I felt like I really had to. So I zoom in on what's going on, and I position the camera, everything's good. And we were in a church where we weren't allowed to move, and we didn't have walkie-talkies then.
Okay.
So, and after that moment, I zoomed back out, I left the camera alone, and come to find out, I did exactly what he wanted me to do, but he was terrified that I would totally screw it up and not focus the camera. But it came out perfect, and I was the one to end up editing that wedding, and I fell in love, like, done. Didn't want to look back at all. Like, that was it for me. That's what I'm supposed to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I don't even know where I would be today had Don Page from Celebrations of Life not thrown his business card at me and told me to come work for him. I honestly don't know.
That's so cool. I love that so much. So where do you see your business growing to? What would you like it to be? Think 5 years down the road.
Honestly, I don't know if this is a good answer or not, but I'm very comfortable with my business right now. I'm steadily getting to the client. I'm at the clientele that I want, wedding based. I'm at the clientele that I want. I specialize in Indian weddings, and that's been my goal for a long time, and that's where I'm at. And I'm definitely a quality over quantity kind of business person. So I am at the point where I'm taking less weddings, but more luxury weddings.
That's awesome.
So I guess my next step, and I'm not trying to grow to be this huge production company where I have numerous teams under me. No, because I want to have my hand in my business. Right. I want to be at my events. So I think my focus, and I guess that's what I'm doing right now, is growing my family business, because I do want to get to a point where I am doing less of those, but we're doing big sessions. I mean, I'm talking probably like $1,500 sessions, but also includes prints, where a lot of prints are so undervalued right now, and it's such a shame. And I am so guilty of not pushing it, and that's really where my work is devalued, because I'm giving digitals and not prints.
Right.
So that's where I need to grow probably the most. But overall, I'm very happy and comfortable with where I'm at now.
Okay, listeners, if you hear my dog in the background, that means Amazon just dropped a package at the door. Again, this is 2020 in real life, so there you go. Crystal's driving.
At my house than yours.
Right. Yeah, so it just is. Sorry. We're not even going to try to edit that out. Okay, so I guess the next question that I would ask, because I love that, and I love that you're not even interested in like that type of team, because I feel the same way. I like the small personal connection to my clients. I want to know what's going on. I want my hands dirty too. Like I completely agree with all of that. So listeners, we will include all of Chrystal's information in this podcast, in the comments, but in our comments below. So how to find her, all of her social media platforms, her website, and all of that. But Chrystal, what do you want the audience to know about you that maybe we didn't ask?
Booking sessions, I mean, everything goes right through my website, through email based, and that is www.captivatedproductions.com. So there is a contact form right there on my website, and that'll take you right to my email, and also social media. I do a lot of business through Instagram, and that's also just Captivated Productions. Not so much through Facebook, but all my sessions you book right there. And like I said, I do a little bit of everything, but right now, like my main focus is families, and family sessions are about to go up drastically. So right now I am doing family sessions at a quarter of the cost, but with a style that you're going to start seeing very, very soon. And
That's
it is
awesome.
jaw dropping. Like it gives me the goosebumps.
That's so awesome. I love that. Okay, so in closing, KJ is going to ask you our rapid fire questions. So we have 3 questions that we ask every guest. And so KJ, take it away.
Okay, Chrystal, when you need to be brave but feel scared, what do you do?
I think I'm more aggressive to do something when that happens.
I love that you're not going to let fear stop you from being brave. You're just going to do it. That's awesome.
I mean, unless we're talking spiders. I mean, this is a totally different story.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so what is on your nightstand right now?
Ooh, on my nightstand is a salt rock.
Okay.
And I have a stack of books, honestly, old books. My husband's books. It's dude stuff that I don't read.
Okay.
And a salt lamp and a phone charger.
Okay, that's awesome. A snapshot of an ordinary moment that brings you great joy.
Definitely, like just the other night, like the kids doing the Christmas tree.
Yeah, that's a great moment.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. That's
like
awesome.
Everything stops. Like that's all that matters.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. So with your current career, do you choose that career because you can still be present in your children's life?
Oh, so I have a very unfortunate answer for that. It's gotten better over the past couple years because of that whole quality over quantity thing. But my daughter was kind of robbed in her childhood, to be completely honest with you. I'm a workaholic, and more often than not, especially with weddings, work comes before my family. And I hate to say that, but it is the truth. So only lately have I been able to spend a little more quality time with them. In 2020, that's been the ultimate silver lining.
Yeah, I love that. And Chrystal, actually, you've made several comments in our podcast today about how, even though if we just say 2020, we all have like a natural like vomit in the back of our throat.
Yeah.
But you have reflected on several positive things that 2020 has brought to us. Transitioning your business and having that time with family. And I love that because I agree. We have also had some unfortunate 2020 moments and loss, but I agree too that there are some great things that are happening right now that wouldn't be happening if we did not have that quiet and stillness of being at home.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I love that we can, I like to tell my clients all the time, you can feel more than one thing at a time. We can grieve something not going the way we thought it would go, or grieve loss, or grieve change. At the same time, we can celebrate and be grateful for what the change brought. So I think that that's really good that we can, as women with great circles of influence, be able to share that with other people, that you can have more than one of those emotions at the time. So that's
right.
That's awesome. I love that. That's a great way to end our podcast for our listeners.
Yes.
That you can feel all the things at one time and it's okay.
Yes. And there's always a silver lining, no matter how, there's always.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we love that. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Chrystal, for being with us today. We appreciate that so much. This was really good.
Really good. Really good. Thank you. Thanks for listening, y'all. Have a good day.
Hey, you guys, we just want to say thank you today. We want to thank our listeners and those of you that have subscribed to the Simple Conversations podcast. We want to thank our sound and production team for all of their hard work behind the scenes. That would be Tim and Alyssa Ranker. And we also want to give a big shout out to CMS Mortgage Solutions and our friend Karina Carter, because without her, it would be really challenging for us to make this podcast. So keep listening and share it with your friends. Thanks.
Hey y'all, this is KJ from Simple Conversations Where Grace Meets Strength. Thank y'all so much for listening and tuning in. If it weren't for y'all, there would be no reason for us to do this. Listen, we need your help. We need your support. So head on over to patreon.com/Simple Conversations and decide exactly how you want to be involved. For $5 a month, you would get access to behind the scenes content. For $25 a month, you would get that as well as a shout out on the podcast or fan input. As a supporter for $50 a month, you would get all that in the previous two tiers, as well as a one-time gift or book that Alice and I have read or are reading that we think would add value to your life. Or for $100 a month, we consider you family. You ever heard that before? That's friends that are so good that we consider you family. So you would get everything in the previous 3 tiers, as well as exclusive branded merchandise from Simple Conversations. So listen, our heart's desire is to do more and to be more. And so in order for us to do that, we need help. And so we're dependent on you to help us make that happen. So thanks for tuning in and thanks for your support. See y'all.